is happening, Fourth and Inches podcast? Listen, you got Kev and Stevie P. What's going on, Kev?
What's going on, Stevie P? Good to be back. Been a little while since I've been on the podcast, brother.
Yeah, I hear
So,
that.
let's get into some of these Q&As and talk over some of these trades.
All right, guys. So today we're gonna, like Kev said, we're gonna be doing some start-sit questions, and then some trade questions. We'll probably do like 15 minutes of start-sit, 15 minutes of trades, and then we'll be done. So, start-sit question of the day comes from first one of the day comes from Marin 8TN. All right, so we got Demaryius Thomas or Alshon Jeffrey. That's an interesting one.
I'm going Demaryius.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Demaryius also.
I'm actually no. I'm sorry. I'm actually going Alshon.
Okay.
My thing with Demaryius is that team's offense is so terrible, and honestly, like he only produced last week because of the big touchdown at the end of the game when they were throwing in jump time. This week, the Broncos play the Rams. There's probably going to be some more jump time, so you might get a little more Demaryius. But for me, I'm just going with Alshon. The Giants are not a good team either, and I think Alshon will have a good day on Thursday Night Football.
I hear that. For me, I'm going Demaryius. We're going to actually differ on this one. I'm going Demaryius because, like Kev said, I think the Rams are going to score on the Broncos with not much difficulty, and I feel like the Broncos are going to have to throw the ball a whole lot, as where I see the Eagles Giants game being, a little bit more lower scoring. I think the total on that is like 41 or something like that. 42 is the over-under on that game, so it's going to be a lower over-under, and I think who is the shutdown? Who's the cover corner for the? I can't remember what his name
For the
is.
Giants, Janoris Jenkins.
Janoris Jenkins, that's it. I think Janoris Jenkins is going to be there on a lot on Alshon, so I'm probably going to go Demaryius there. All right, so our keepers one asked Tariq Cohen or Nelson Aguilar. He said in my flex 14 team PPR. For me, I'm probably going to go Tariq Cohen here. Nelson Aguilar, see, that one's actually a tough one. Ah, man. You know what? I'm actually going to go Aguilar. I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go Aguilar. I think Aguilar, started looking a little bit better last week against the Vikings. Seemed to, get the ball a little bit more, target it a little bit more, and I could see him catching 5 or 6 balls in this game. So I'll go the safe floor of Nelson Aguilar in a 14-teamer.
Yeah, 14 team. Is it PPR or not? I guess did it say if it's PPR or not?
Yeah, it's at 14-team PPR, yep.
Yeah, I'm going Aguilar then. I think Aguilar in the PPR. I know Cohen catches a lot of balls out of the backfield, but I think tomorrow the Eagles are going to come ready to play against the Giants, and I like Aguilar.
I hear that. It's a must-win, so,
Yeah, both teams are in a must-win, but the Eagles are really just a better team. The Giants got too much drama going on.
Yeah, you're not lying. Yeah, I'm going to probably stay away from Giants except Odell Beckham because he always seems to kill the Eagles. All right, so should I play Morris or Cohen in my flex PPR? That's interesting.
I'm going.
You're going Morris, yeah. I think I'm going Morris too.
I think Morris is a top. I think Morris is a top 24 back.
Yeah, I agree.
Going against Green Bay, no Matt Breida this week. At least right now it looks that way. Has he been ruled out?
Yeah, definitely. They said he might miss anywhere from 2 to 5 weeks. So.
You're talking about getting a running back that's going to be getting all the workload there. I don't even know who their other running back is. Did they bring anybody in?
No, it's actually Mostert or Morstat.
Raheem Mostert. Yeah, I know him from Eagles days as well.
Yeah.
That's 100% Alfred Morris workload, and when you got a workload back there, he's gonna get he's gonna get all the work, and Jordan Howard's gonna take away from Tariq Cohen. So I like Alfred Morris.
I agree. I just don't. I think the Bears game is going to be a closer game, so I could see them going a lot more Howard than Tariq this week, and like Kev said, Morris is the guy there now. So, and you know what? He's been targeted surprisingly. He's caught 2 and 3 balls.
He had a lot. He had a good. I was gonna say, I think he had 3 or 4 catches this past week.
Yeah, he's got like at least I want to say like 1 or 2 catches in every single game. I don't think he's had a game where he didn't have a catch. I could be mistaken on that, but I'm pretty sure he's been catching the ball to the backfield. And when a Cal Shanahan offense is going to be like that, the backs just catch balls.
Yep.
All right, so
C.J. Beathard as the quarterback.
Exactly. So King Ramsey asks, Derrick Henry or Peyton Barber, non-PPR.
Whew.
Yeah, that's tough. I'm gonna go Derrick Henry. I think Rojo gets some play this week. I think he probably is the. I think he's the back that they're going to go with from here on out. And I mean, I think Peyton Barber touches the ball a couple times in this game, but I think they get Rojo going, trying to see what they got in him. And this is the week where it starts. So I'm probably going to go Derrick Henry because I just don't think Barber is going to touch the ball all that much.
I agree. Not only that, I think Derrick Henry has a better chance to score a touchdown than Peyton Barber this week. Also,
yeah,
you're looking for points. Touchdowns the way to get those points, and Derrick Henry has a lot better shot at it than Peyton Barber.
Exactly. All right, so 1 point PPR flex. Are we going with Cutie or Amari Cooper? Well, all right,
Kiki,
so
you love me. That's where I'm going. I don't know how you feel, Steve, but for me, Amari Cooper is way too inconsistent, and Kiki QT has really looked like he's going to be an integral part of that offense.
Yeah.
I think Fuller played 96% of the snaps last week despite being hurt, and QT got the ball in the red zone. He got the touchdown, and he's going to get 7 to 8 targets in the game, and he basically runs those routes that if Watson's escaping out of the pocket, he's a little shorter and running routes that are more for check down and get out. When Deshaun Watson's rolling out, I like QT going forward in this offense.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna go with QT also, just because he has a safer floor. I wouldn't be surprised if Amari Cooper has a big game, though. They're going to be playing in London, as you guys know, so it's a 9 o'clock. Make sure you guys pay attention to that. This weekend is a 9:30 a.m. start for the for the London game. So make sure you have your players either in or whatever early in the game. So, but QD definitely has a safer floor, so I'm gonna go with that safe floor. If you need the upside, though, I would go Amari. But definitely QD for the safe floor. Start sit. We got N Todd 13. Pick 2. Full point PPR, Marshawn Lynch, Sony Michel, or Julian Edelman. Yeah, that's actually
I'm sorry, say the names again, Steve. You kind of cut out on me.
Yeah, it was Marshawn Lynch, Sony Michel, and Julian Edelman. For me, that's simple. I'm going to go with the 2 running backs. Lynch has just been an animal this year, playing really good football. Like I said, going overseas, playing a Seahawks.
Against his old team,
yeah, playing the Seahawks. For me, I definitely see Marshawn Lynch scoring a TD in this game, maybe going over 100 yards. And Sony Michel is just, he's just been awesome this year, since he's gotten that job. So I'm going to stick with those 2.
Yeah, I agree. I would go both of the running backs. I think Edelman's still working his way back. You saw it last week. He got a fair share of targets and catches, but did have the big drop, on like the 40-yard ball down the field with nobody around him. So, yeah, I would lean on the running backs that have been basically doing it all year, and just kind of let Julian Edelman work his way back.
I hear that. So the next one is from Sporter5. He has, do you drop Funchess for Goodwin? That's actually a drop question, but we'll allow it. I am not going to drop Funchess for Goodwin. Honestly, I think they're close.
Are we talking about Marquise Goodwin?
Yeah, Marquise Goodwin. No, I'm sorry, Godwin. I said it wrong. I said Goodwin. Godwin. So I'm not going to do that.
I would drop. I would.
You would?
I think Godwin has produced. Yeah, I think Godwin has produced this year on a better level than Funchess. I mean, that might be something we actually probably should look up. I'm going to look it up real quick.
Yeah, Funchess is getting the targets and the catches. So for me,
but Greg Olson's supposed to come back this week too. So
yeah, and that's the thing. You know what I mean? Like, I know people said, when Greg comes back, he gets less targeted, but I didn't really see that last year. You know what I mean? Like in years prior, yeah, I agree. But last year he was still pretty targeted in that offense. Let's see. Let's go to players. All right, wide receivers. So, if you go to the wide receivers, let's see. So you got Funchess. Funchess in the past, let's say, he had a bye week 5. So 3 targets. Mm-hmm. 3 targets for 41, 7 for 77, 4 for 67 and a touch, 4 for 53. And then if you look at
Godwin basically is
super
he had a
touchdown
bad week
dependent.
Yeah,
he's been super touchdown dependent. It's 3 for 41, 5 for 56 and a touch. The first 3 games he had a touchdown, 5 for 74 and a touchdown. But if you remember, they were getting blown out in that game. The Philly game was super high scoring. The New Orleans game was super high scoring. The Chicago game where they couldn't score anything, 2 for 22.
See, I look at the first game where we're with Greg Olson in the lineup, gets 3 for 41 in that game.
Yeah.
So he gets he's the last 3 weeks, but when Greg Olson comes back, he just doesn't do well. Olson's kind of that guy over the middle of the field that Cam looks for. So, I mean, for me, I would take a shot with Chris Godwin and more of a passing off because that team ain't been able to run the ball, so they gotta throw it. And line they're leaning on the run game and throwing a little bit more with Cam, but I think that they're
See, and this is my thing.
I
though.
like Godwin a little more.
Yeah, I definitely think I agree with that. I like Godwin more. I think he'll score more. He's definitely going to score more touchdowns than Funchess. But my thing is, Funchess is your worst receiver. You know what I mean? Like, maybe he is. But I don't know how many. It doesn't say how many team league this is, but I just feel like Funchess might not be his worst receiver. If you have a worse receiver than Funchess, drop him for Godwin. Or running back, you know what I mean? Or a second tight end. If you have a second tight end, pick up Godwin and drop your second tight end. You know what I mean? Like, I think I would like to know the rest of his team before I say, drop Funchess. So that's how I'm going to leave it. You didn't give us enough information to get an answer here.
I got you. He probably, depending on the size of the league, he may have a worse receiver than.
Yeah, definitely. See, because if you okay, so let's say he has, Jordan Reed and Trey Burton. You know what I mean? Like, I think I would drop Trey Burton and pick up, Godwin and still keep Funchess. You know what I mean? Like, Trey Burton, I don't think has been anything special this year. You know what I mean? Jordan Reed is somebody that I'll probably keep. It just depends on his team, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so Amazing Life of Jew. That's an interesting name, but we got pick 2, Dalvin Cook, Christian Thompson, or who? Or Clement. And then it says half-point PPR, waiver options are Barber and Juszczyk.
Okay, well, the waiver options are irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly.
So who was the third one? Was it Clement?
Yeah, it's Corey Clement. Okay, so Chris Thompson, we don't even know. Has it been confirmed that he's playing this week?
I want to say, I don't even know if he's playing. I know he got rocked last night.
Yeah, he did. He got wrecked. And that's the other thing. Dalvin Cook. We don't know if Dalvin Cook is playing either.
Yeah. I mean, if Dalvin Cook plays, I'm going with him because Tampa Bay's defense is just terrible. So Dalvin Cook, if he plays, or Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona.
Arizona. Arizona's defense is the same, terrible. So I would definitely be going with Dalvin Cook if he's playing.
I definitely agree with that.
Chris Thompson or Corey Clement. man, considering the Eagles running back situation and considering the Redskins running back situation right now.
Yeah, it's rough.
See, he's going to be in a rough spot because if we don't know Chris Thompson's playing and the Eagles are playing tomorrow night,
yeah,
Peyton Barber might be his guy because if he waits for Chris Thompson, I might go Corey Clement. He's 100% ready to go from Doug Peterson's mouth. I'm probably going Corey Clement. And just, if Chris Thompson plays and even if AP, he's supposed to play, but he was banged up pretty good in the game too. Man, that's a tough one, but I think I would go with Clement.
Yeah,
I would go Cook and Clement.
Yeah, for me that's pretty simple. I mean, Corey Clement is the only healthy back you have here, so definitely a guy that I'm starting. And then, between Dalvin Cook and Chris Thompson, I think you definitely have to play Cooks if he's playing, and Chris Thompson if he's cleared to play, and Cooks is not, then you're playing Thompson. So. Clement is the only one that 100% is playing. So you can't bench a guy that 100% is playing for two guys that you're not sure are playing. To me, it's that simple. And I'm not picking up Barber and playing him because, like we just said, I don't think he's going to. I don't think he's going to start for that team. So if he doesn't get at least 10, 12 touches, then he's completely worthless compared to these other guys. Because even with 18 to 20 touches, this guy has been only been producing like 5 fantasy points. So, you know what I mean? If he's getting, 8 to 10, touches, you can't start him. You can't start Peyton Barber. And Kyle Juszczyk, he was targeted a lot last week, but they ran 92 plays. Like, if you think that the San Francisco 49ers are going to run 92 plays every game, then hell yeah, start Kyle Juszczyk. But, that's probably not going to happen. So
I'm not ever playing Kyle Juszczyk.
Exactly. I'm not playing Kyle Juszczyk. All right, so we got Rye 49 Faith. Flex option, Keelan Cole or Chris Godwin? For me, that's easy. I'm going Chris Godwin.
I'm going Godwin, especially with the matchup against Atlanta.
Yeah, definitely. That's Cole. Cole. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a good player, but Blake Bortles is way too up and down to even try to figure out which wide receiver is going to be the guy from week to week to even consider him over Godwin. I just wouldn't do it. All right.
Totally agree.
So Steph Ann 996 asked John Brown or Jordy Nelson. See, that is actually tougher than I would have expected a couple of weeks ago because Jordy Nelson has been playing very well. Mm-hmm. But I think I'm going to go with the upside of John Brown.
I think the same. I think I'm still going taking the upside of John Brown.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, but it is a tough one because Jordy the last couple of weeks has really put up some numbers.
Yeah, he has. And he's scoring touchdowns, which is like not what I expected at all. But, they're not a bad team. And going up against Tennessee, the one thing about Tennessee that, if you guys remember from last year that we talked about, they give up points to the number one receiver. And I couldn't tell you what the hell it is about number one receivers against Tennessee that they just eat every time they play them, other than Calvin Benjamin last week because, oh my God, that game was so bad.
He's not even a number one receiver. So.
Dude, it was bad. He's so bad. It's bad.
I feel bad for you, Steve. I hope you wind up losing your running back to come so he comes back home too.
I hear you. Well, you know what? At this point, I want that to happen because at this point, we need.
You need all the draft picks.
Yes.
You can get.
Yep, we need all the draft picks we can get, and I'm down for Bosa. So. You know what I mean? But back to NFL. Baltimore, John Brown is the number one wide receiver. I know, people think it's Crabtree, but it's not. It's John Brown. He's their deep threat. He's their guy that, he's their playmaker. He's the guy that they look to when they need third and long, second and long. So John Brown for me is, going to eat in this game. I'm actually starting him in a bunch of my first lineups. All right, so let's see. Next one is Deb's Guy 85. So trade James Conner and Larry Fitzgerald for Royce Freeman and Tyler Boyd.
Okay, so say that again.
It says trade James Conner and Larry Fitzgerald for Royce Freeman and Tyler Boyd.
Uh,
Yeah, see, that's rough. See, the problem is
Le'Veon Bell's situation makes this a whole lot trickier question.
Yes, it does. I mean, and they're still saying that they're going to give Connor touches, but I don't know how how much you can rely on how many touches he's going to get. In the beginning, I think the first week or two, he's definitely going to get a lot of touches, but it could be a situation where they ease Le'Veon Bell back, and then by week 10, 11, he's just getting 30 touches a game again. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm probably going to go with the Royce Freeman side and Taylor side of this because I just don't think Larry is going to bounce back. I love Larry Fitzgerald. If you guys listen to the podcast, I love Larry Fitzgerald, and I gave him a shout out a couple weeks back. But Royce
Arizona's just bad.
Yeah, they're just bad. And Royce Freeman, I actually just made a trade to get Royce Freeman. And the reason I did that is because, even with splitting carries, if you look at their schedule the rest of the way, the Broncos have the easiest run schedule of any team in the NFL. They just play, top, bottom, 20 defenses the rest of the way. You know what I mean? I don't think they play a defense above 18, rush defense this year for the rest of the season. So for me, Royce Freeman I think will be a good flex play, and Tyler Boyd is already proven to be a good, pretty good number 2 wide receiver. So I think I'm going to go that way.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would lean that way too. Man, the only thing could possibly hurt you in that deal is if Le'Veon happens to get traded. But at this point, there's nothing saying that. So yeah, I think I would do that deal. Go get Royce Freeman, and Tyler Boyd is actually a huge upgrade over Larry Fitzgerald right now. So.
Oh yeah, if that. That's not a question. I mean, Larry is just, like we said, we love Larry, but that's a bad situation. Just not good. Not
very bad situation.
Real quick, I actually, now that we're talking about it, I actually want to look at Connor's schedule because I have a feeling like the next couple games are tough. All right, so Connor's schedule also. So this week he plays Cincy. Next week is a bye. That's a tough game, Cincy. And then he plays Cleveland, which is a touch defense. Baltimore, yeah, I'm definitely doing this deal. Listen to James Conner's rest of season schedule. So he plays Cincy in week 6, bye week 7. That's when Le'Veon Bell's coming back. Baltimore in week 9. He's got Carolina in 10, Jacksonville in 11, Denver in 12. The Chargers at 13. The Oakland Raiders, his first, I would say, good matchup in the week 14. Then he plays New England and New Orleans. New Orleans has been a great rush defense, really good. New England is starting to play better defense, but I don't know what they're going to be. So out of those games, really the only two that I would feel comfortable playing him is Oakland and New England. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, I'm definitely making that trade.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're at the same time. I think you're starting Connor, every game if he winds up being the run.
Oh yeah, well he's the guy.
You're making this trade. You're really making this trade out of, him not being there in 3 weeks, or 4 weeks. So, yeah, I think that I do the deal just because I think Le'Veon's going to wind up being the guy.
I hear that. It's really hard to trade Le'Veon if you look at all this, different things that could happen. But all right, Kev, do you want to do one more start sit and then we'll do some trades?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Should I start Luck or Winston in a 6-point for touchdown league? That's simple for me. I actually have this exact scenario in my league. I'm starting Jameis Winston going up against Atlanta. Jameis Winston's at home. To me, this sets up perfectly to be a huge, huge game for Jameis Winston. I think he goes well over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. I don't think that's even hard for him to do against a really, really banged up Falcons defense.
I totally agree. I think that Atlanta's going to put a shit ton of points up as well. So they're going to be throwing. This is going to be just a shootout type of game.
Yep.
I would definitely go with Jameis because I think the Jets' defense is actually a little bit better than what people think.
Yeah, I agree. It's just, Jameis really. This is another thing I wanted to bring up in the podcast tonight because I knew we were going to be talking questions, and I was hoping I got a Jameis question. So, okay, in ESPN ranks, which, I always tell you guys ranks don't mean shit, but, Jameis Winston is the number 5 quarterback, and he's his first game back. So, if you look at his rest of season schedule, it is probably one of the best schedules ever. So,
it's such a good schedule.
It's such a good schedule, dude. He plays Atlanta this week, then he plays Cleveland and Cincinnati, right? And that's basically his tough matchups because Carolina is not a good pass defense. It's Washington, the New York Giants, San Francisco, Carolina again, New Orleans, Baltimore, and Dallas. Really, the only, Baltimore and Dallas are middle of the road teams in stopping the pass, but every one of these other teams is been terrible this year against stopping the pass. You know what I mean? Like Cleveland, you can say has been good, but if you really look, they're giving up 260 yards a game, passing, which is not great. It's like middle of the road. Like I said, the only really tough defense that they're going to go up against is Dallas. You know what I mean? And that's week 16. But for the rest of the season, I love Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've looked at Jameis's matchups going forward, and his schedule is great, and his offense has been ridiculous for the first 4 weeks without him because they had their bye week. But I'm on board with Jameis Winston. I really think this is kind of a year for him. Like he's got to go out and prove it this year because he's got the opportunity. We saw Ryan Fitzpatrick do it. So if you're supposed to be the guy, then you should be able to come in, step up, and produce at a high level. So I think there's a lot of pressure on Winston, and I think he's the type of player that can perform under pressure.
I hear that. All right, guys, so trade questions. Here we go. Amazing Life DFJU. He asks, he says, I'm at the bottom, what do you think? So this is a trade that I guess he proposed, and the other person accepted it. So he's offering up Brandon Cooks, the Rams defense, and Donta Foreman for the Browns defense, Julian Edelman, Philip Lindsay, Tyler Boyd. I hate this trade. This is a terrible trade.
I mean, it's just I don't want to say a lot of nothing, but
dude.
It's literally trading role players for role players. The one guy in here that I'm excited for is Deontay Foreman
and Brandon Cooks.
So, obviously with Brandon Cooks, Brandon Cooks actually isn't the role. He's not a role player.
No,
he's a number one receiver. Yeah, he's a number one receiver. Yeah, but I don't know what the rest of his situation looks like. That he's, getting rid of Brandon Cooks and Deontay Foreman, who's going.
Hold on.
I think
actually he
Foreman
did put it.
back.
He did put it on here, Kev. All right, I didn't read the bottom. I read just the trade. I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, so it says, he says, my other receivers are Diggs, Thielen, Kiki, Mike Williams, and Kenny Stills. So he does have Thielen and Diggs. He's giving away.
Yeah, see, I would have thrown one of them in there, though.
Yeah.
If you're making that trade, you should have threw one of them in there and just separated the Minnesota guys.
Yeah, and you could have got a lot more for Diggs than you're going to get for Brandon Cooks.
Definitely.
So this is my issue with this trade. Okay, so Brandon Cooks, number 1 wide receiver. Donta Foreman, if he looks anything like he looked last year, he's going to be a top 15 running back in an offense that can move the ball. And you know what I mean? Like, to me, this is terrible. This, Julian Edelman, like, I guess he's a top 20 wide receiver. Philip Lindsay, to me, is a top 24 running back, but the low end, maybe 22, 23 by season's end. He's splitting carries. Tyler Boyd, I think, is a good number 2 wide receiver, but I would only put him like as high as 18, in the 18 to 20 range. So to me, you're giving up a top 10 wide receiver and a possible top 15 running back for a top 20 wide receiver, a top 24 wide receiver, and a top 20 running back. And the Browns' defense and Rams' defense is basically irrelevant. That's just, I don't know why you would trade those two. Yeah, I don't know why you're trading defenses, but I don't like this trade. I think you got the shitty end of the stick, if you ask me.
So who was it? It wound up being Deontay Foreman and Brandon Cooks for Edelman, Tyler Boyd, and who else?
And Philip Lindsay.
Philip Lindsay. Yeah, I wouldn't have traded. I mean,
especially because
it seems like you have depth. It seems like you have depth at receiver. So why add more depth at receiver?
Yeah, exactly.
You're like I think you were better off trying to get a better running back instead of both of those receivers. Like if you wanted to get Edelman, then instead of getting Tyler Boyd and Philip Lindsay, just throw one better running back in there and see if he would go for it.
Yeah.
And then like I said, I would have thrown Diggs in there instead of Cooks because you probably could have got more. So if you're going to go Cooks and Deontay, or you could have went Diggs and Deontay Foreman for Edelman and maybe Jordan Howard, something like that. If somebody would do that, but I would have aimed a little higher running back than Philip Lindsay because your depth at receiver seems fine.
Exactly, and this is the other thing. Okay, so what starting lineup sounds better to you guys? Like in most leagues, you can't start 4 wide receivers. You know what I mean? In some leagues, it's 3 wide receiver league.
That all probably comes into play. I mean, the format, I guess we're talking here. If this is like a dynasty league where you're starting 5 wide receivers, maybe it's different. But I mean,
let's just say for argument's sake that you're starting 3 wide receivers, right? You have the possibility of starting 3 wide receivers, right? What wide receivers would you rather start? Would you rather start Diggs, Thielen, and Cooks, or would you rather start Diggs, Thielen, and Boyd? Like to me, that's not a question.
Yeah, and then I don't like it. I mean, we don't know what his running back situation is. Does it say what his running back situation is?
No, it doesn't. It just says.
So I mean,
the wide receivers.
He may be starting Philip Lindsay, where he wasn't starting Deontay Foreman. But dude, did you talk about Deontay Foreman in yesterday's podcast, Steve?
Yes, I did. I brought him up. I said, that he's
Deontay
definitely
Foreman,
somebody to pick up.
I think Deontay Foreman is going to be the running back that they use when he's going to be back in Week 7. Bill O'Brien talked about this week that he's on track to be back in Week 7.
Yep.
So Alfred Blue has been there for years. He's never been a guy to get it done. Lamar Miller, I don't even they're saying Lamar Miller was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe it. To me, he's been so bad this year that I don't even believe it.
Yeah.
I think Deontay Foreman is going to come back and take that job. This is a trade I'd never have done.
No.
Regardless of my record. I could be 0-5 and wouldn't have done this deal.
I hear that. I agree. I just don't see how you're winning this deal. All right, so let's go to the next one. Should I trade Julio Jones, Aaron Jones, and Andrew Luck for Kamara? I would say 100% yes, but you're not getting that off.
I don't think
people are not trading Kamara, bro. Like you would have to offer. There's no way you're offering Aaron Jones and Julio for Kamara. Like if this person has Kamara, they probably have, I would say either good enough wide receivers that they don't need Julio to give you Kamara. You know what I mean? Or they're just gonna say, fuck it, I got Kamara and I'm not, I'm just gonna use him rest of season. He's been amazing. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, don't let the other night fool you. They just gave him a little breather with Mark Ingram coming back, and they're going into their bye week.
He was a little banged up, and they wanted to give him some less reps.
Exactly. You're not getting this off because right now there's probably 3 untradeable players in the NFL, and he's in fantasy football. I believe there's 3 untradeable players, and he's one of them. There's Todd Gurley. Nobody's trading Todd Gurley.
Yep.
Nobody's trading Alvin Kamara.
Yep.
And
Saquon.
Saquon probably right now isn't getting traded either.
Yeah.
So I mean, those three players right now, like I wouldn't even. You don't even waste your time because if somebody really does tomorrow, I mean, maybe he has a lot of running back depth. He could use Julio and a quarterback, but Aaron Jones right now, he's irrelevant because he hasn't done it. He's not getting the workload.
Yeah.
For some reason, Mike McCarthy loves Jamal Williams because of his pass protection, simply because of his pass protection.
Yep.
But until Aaron Jones becomes the guy, he's basically irrelevant in this trade because you can't go in getting 4 points a week as a running back thinking that that's going to make up for Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so this next trade, we're just going to go real quick. Aaron Rodgers and Trey Burton for Patrick Mahomes. This was accepted, so he's just asking if he made the right deal.
I mean, depending on who your other tight end is, I have a little bit more of a love for Trey Burton than Steve does.
Yeah.
When we talked about it earlier, when you brought up Trey Burton earlier, I think Trey Burton's actually done pretty well this year with the way the tight end market looks.
Mm-hmm.
I know he scored in at least 2 games that they played out of the 4. So I think he's been a little better than what, especially considering the tight end market. But, yeah, for me, this is basically just dumping your tight end almost.
Yeah.
I mean, to get Mahomes. And I don't think that the difference between Rodgers and Mahomes is worth giving up for giving up Trey Burton when the tight end market is so low. So, no, I would not have done this deal. But
yeah, I mean, you're trading the number 1 quarterback for the number 2 quarterback in my eyes. So,
yeah,
and who knows who's going to and giving up your tight end. So, I'm not doing that deal. Next one, this action's not bad. Yeah, this is not bad. Okay, so you're giving up Jordan Reed, Kenny Galladay, and Nyheim Hines for Travis Kelce and Royce Freeman. If you have the depth, Nyheim Hines and Galladay were guys that were drafted later on in the draft, so I'm going to assume that your wide receiver and running back depth is good enough that you can get rid of these guys. And Jordan Reed to get Travis Kelce and Royce Freeman, I think that's a good deal. I mean, I think I might do this.
I really like that deal. The problem is, Royce Freeman is just splitting work. He's only got. He's not. He's not getting a lot of the carries. Mm-hmm. He had 8 carries, and Philip Lindsay had, I think, or it might be touches. But, I mean, the thing with Royce Freeman, they're just getting blown out, and so getting him back and giving up on who was it? It was
Jordan Reed, Kenny
Jordan
Galladay,
Reed,
and Nyheim
Hines. Yeah, if this was a PPR league.
Yeah, see. Yeah, like I said, I mean, like I would like to see the rest of his roster so I could,
Yeah.
Let me click on Yeah, it doesn't show the rest of his roster, but if I could see the rest of his roster and see what he had, I would, just assuming, right, that he probably has good wide receivers and good running backs. If he's willing to give up Hines and Galladay, Galladay is a guy you probably got in like between round 10 and 12. So, you probably got good wide receivers before that. Exactly. And Nyheim, you probably got off the waiver wire. I mean, in most leagues. He probably wasn't drafted in many leagues. So,
yeah. I honestly, depending on his depth. I mean, his depth is probably pretty good. You're right, and you're getting the number 1 tight end in football. So, yeah, this is a pretty good trade. I would probably do this trade.
Yeah, I feel confident that if he's willing to give up Galladay and Nyheim Hines, he probably has good enough receiver depth and running back depth to say, you know what, I want the best tight end in football because I don't trust Jordan Reed. So, I like this trade. This is a good one.
Yeah.
All right, so. All right. This one I don't know if I would do, actually. All right, so here's another one for a Travis Kelce deal. Trade Juju Smith-Schuster for Travis Kelce. Nope.
I mean, depending on his depth at the wide receiver position, I would. I mean, if you have, all right, we just talked about Kenny Galladay. Like, if you have Galladay from your 12th round and who was some later round guys that were like 9th, 10th round that have been pretty good.
I'm trying to think. 9th, 12th round. You probably got Fuller in those rounds. You probably got
Will Fuller, the 3-1. Yeah. So if that's what your wide receiver depth is looking
Cooper
like,
Kupp.
your tight end position, Cooper Kupp could be another one. Robert Woods could be another one. So like those guys right there, if you have those guys, and Juju's kind of not as good as Juju's been, he's just he's part of a really deep wide receiver core, and you're struggling at tight end, I would do it definitely. I would.
Yeah. See,
depending on your. This for me is just based off your depth at wide receiver. If you're deep at wide receiver, you can afford to do this trade, because tight end to me, in leagues where you need a tight end, if you have Ertz or Kelsey or even Gronk right now, even though he hasn't been Gronk, it's a huge advantage, man. Yeah. Trust me, I've only played 5 leagues this year. Our league, we don't need a tight end. The one league that I don't have a tight end, I am constantly looking, because it's just so bare out there with tight end.
Yeah, for me, in every league that I have to play a tight end, I get a top 3 guy. Like, I make it a point, and this is from years of playing in fantasy football. I just know, since I've been playing fantasy football since 2004. The year after I graduated high school was the first year I ever played fantasy football. I tried fantasy football in 2003, but it wasn't for any money, and I was just bullshitting. But in 2004 was my first year, and I would say by like 2006, I realized if you don't have, Tony Gonzalez or Antonio Gates at that point, your team was ass. Like because those guys were so above everyone else. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Jeremy Shockey was back then. You know what I mean? He was just coming into the league. But, if you didn't have one of those guys, your team just didn't win, because you needed those guys on your team. So I learned very early, if you have a tight end league where you have to play a tight end, I want one of the top 3 guys that I know, or, one of the top 5 guys, back then. But, one of the top 3 guys in this group, Ertz, Gronk, or Kelsey, if you don't have one of those, you're scrambling every week, because you're just not getting consistent points. And so it is what it is. All right, so this trade, I'm not going to read it because it's stupid. Let's see. Well, I'll read it and then we'll just laugh at it. How about that? Kamara for James White, and Kenny Galladay. Next.
Next.
Next. All right, a dynasty trade. Mark Ingram for Deshaun Jackson and David Njoku, and a 2019 second-round pick. Why would you do that? Mark Ingram is 27, I believe. 27. So you're getting Deshaun Jackson, who is about to be 32. David Njoku, who knows what he's going to turn into.
Yeah, he hasn't been good this year, or he's been up and down this year.
And a second-round rookie. I'm not doing this deal.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm hanging on to Mark Ingram and letting him ride out his last 2 or 3 years, and maybe you can get something better on the trade market for Mark Ingram, but I'm not doing it for that.
Yeah, no. See, this is my thing. Like, I think a lot of people fail to realize Mark Ingram is a free agent after this year, right? What is, like, of all the teams that you can think of, what is the best team that you would love to see Mark Ingram in? For me, it's Tampa Bay. He gets to go play against New Orleans twice a year. They're not going to re-sign him. He gets to play against New Orleans twice a year. He's going to go and finally give Tampa Bay a running game, right? I could just 100% see this happening. And for me, if I get Mark Ingram on a Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense with what the pieces that they already have, are you kidding me? Like, you can't stack 8 men in the box with the offense that they have. You cannot do it. I don't care what anybody says, because guess what? Deshaun Jackson, even though he's going to be 32, he still stretches the field like no other. Mike Evans is just a complete animal. You can't leave him one-on-one, period. You know what I mean? And O.J. Howard is just like maybe the most athletic tight end in the history of football. So, you're crazy. I'm not doing this deal.
Yeah.
I'm keeping Ingram.
Yeah. What do you think? One or two more, Steve?
Yeah, let's just do one more, because I know you got to go soon.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll do one more. Let's find a good one. Let's find a good one. This I gotta read this phrase because it's so stupid. James Conner and Funches for Le'Veon. Like, why would you do that? Why, like,
Yeah, you don't. You're not even trading James Conner for Le'Veon. Like that don't even work.
yeah. All right, I actually like this one. This is not bad. Nope, I'm retarded. This is terrible. Not gonna read that one. All right, let's find a good one. Oh, this one okay. I can see this one. All right, so LaShawn McCoy, Cooper Kupp for David Johnson, Tywan Taylor. Okay.
Sean McCoy and
Yes, LaShawn McCoy and Cooper Kupp, and he would be trading away David Johnson and Tywan Taylor. Oh man,
for me,
yeah, this is tough.
Yeah,
this is
kind
tough.
of tough, especially with my kid screaming in my ear. For me, yeah, because David Johnson hasn't been good, and I think we all expect better things out of Shady going forward.
Especially if he goes to Philly.
Even though he hasn't been. Yeah, if he winds up getting traded to Philly, definitely I would do this deal in a second.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna do this deal.
I think I would still do the deal. Yeah,
I'm gonna do this deal.
Yeah,
all right, so
I really like Cooper Kupp too.
Yes,
so
I love Cooper Kupp.
Just adding Cooper Kupp in over Tywan Taylor. Cooper Kupp over Tywan Taylor is just
that's a huge upgrade.
That's ridiculous. Yeah,
that's a retarded upgrade. And LaShawn McCoy, even if he doesn't get traded, I do think they're going to make him a focal point of the offense. I think the rib injury did bother him the past 2 weeks. Last week they finally said, okay, let's see what he's got, and they gave him 24 touches in that game against a tough Tennessee run defense. So, I definitely think they're going to give McCoy the touches going forward. I don't know if he's definitely not going to be as valid as David Johnson. I mean, David Johnson has been, much better the past couple of weeks, but he's also been like super touchdown, needing those touchdowns. Yeah, super touchdown dependent. So for me, this is easy trade. It's a super upgrade from Tywan Taylor, and I don't think it's that huge of a downgrade to LaShawn McCoy. I think it's maybe, 10 players. I think, if David Johnson finishes as the top, let's say he finishes at 10 or 11, McCoy finishes at, 20 to 24. I definitely think he's an RB2, so, and if he goes to Philly, he could end up being, top 15 guy. So, I would definitely take the chance just to have Cooper Kupp on my team, definitely.
No, I agree.
All right, guys, so that's it for us today. We will be back on the podcast tomorrow. Me and Kev are going to talk the Thursday night game. We're probably going to do it around 4 o'clock, 4:30, so we'll do it live so that you guys can hear it live and get your lineup set for tomorrow night. So for us at 4th and Inches Podcast, we thank you guys for listening and have a good rest of your day.
Take it easy, everyone.
All right, let's get it.